I'm live. Yay. Hope you can find.
Do you have to end this one?
I don't know how to do all that, honey.
Okay.
There we go. Josh made it in. Yay, Josh. Thank you for leading the way, buddy. There's at least two of us. I'm going to wait for others to gather. I'm going to sip on my coffee. Good morning. Oh, there's Jason. Good to see you guys. Hi, Luke. Marcia. Oh, coming to us from Williams still. Hola. Buenos dias. Yay. All right. Morning, Amanda. Morning, Holly. I'm going to let people migrate over. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. There's Jenny. Hope you have a cup of coffee. I'm sipping on my coffee while I wait for everybody to migrate over. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I tried to set the previous one up in advance. When I went back in, it was telling me that I had an issue with my software. So I'm not sure. I may just have to go live in the moment until we figure out that technical issue. So glad everybody's making their way over here. Morning, Ruth. Morning, Phil. Morning, Carol. Morning, Chris. Nice message this morning, Chris. Thank you so much for that. And love the fact that our new set was up and running. And that looked pretty good. Having the TV. Hey, Sharon and Sid. Great to see you guys this morning. Thanks for joining us. Really looking forward to Pastor on the Patio this morning. I'm just talking here and buying time so that when we get going, we'll have more people with us. And so we're on hiatus from groups right now. As most of you know, there are a few groups still meeting. I know our Midtown Men's group has continued meeting for a few weeks here. But most of the groups are on hiatus until the first week of June, and then we'll launch back in. I'm going to actually in a minute do a little demonstration of how to register for a group right on your phone. Lots of messages pouring in about Chris's message this morning. Great job this morning. I love the fact that you reminded us of God's grace coming to us through our groups, through the people that we know, through the people that we surround ourselves. And I love thinking about, as you encourage Chris, being intentional about that. And my assistant just turned on her speaker. So it's good stuff. And that's going to play right into a very big part of the message this morning for Pastor on the Patio. And what our plans are as we begin to move now into the future with things opening back up. So we're pretty excited for things opening up. We're grateful that they are, and we're trying to think through very, very carefully, exactly how we go back to large public worship gatherings. And I'll talk about all the things that are in our minds as we're thinking about it. So we'll talk about that. I see Phil is here still trying to get Pastor Chris to record his dance moves. All right. So I think we've got almost 25 here right now. So I will go ahead and just start talking about a couple of the things that I want to talk about. So first of all, groups, because that is, as you're going to hear me talk about in the upcoming edition of what are our plans for reopening to large public worship gatherings. Right now, our focus is spot on groups and getting our groups meeting together in homes. And so what I wanted to do this morning, just as a way to make that happen, is to show you how to do this. So if you want to register for a group, there on my phone is the Crosswalk Church website. The easiest way for you to get there is just go to your search in your browser and type in cwlk.church, and that will land you. You'll notice that our old web address is still there. We haven't switched that over. You can type that in, crosswalkphoenix.com as well, and that will get you to this page. Now, what I want you to do once you're to this page is I want you to scroll down. And then you'll notice at the bottom, and I realize it's a little bit hard to see, but there are a bunch of little categories here. And then you'll notice one right here for growth groups. So if you hit on that, that will take you to your growth groups page. And that's what that looks like. And then you scroll down just a bit and you get this sign up now button. Click on that. And then you get the options. So there are categories. So we have Crosswalk University. Hopefully you can see that. We have Impact Group. And then we have virtual and online. So all you need to do to get in and see what groups are in those categories is click on one of these. I'm going to do Crosswalk University because it just so happens that one of my groups, Bible Basics 1, the one that I teach together with Lee Pimental, is in this category. And when you click on any of the categories, it's basically the same thing happens. The list of groups comes up. So I click on there and you get Crosswalk University, but as you scroll, let me see if I can scroll, and you'll see options will come up. And so this is the top one. You click on it, and there you have it. You're at the last place you got to click, Bible Basics 1 Summer. Phil keeps messaging me. Phil, stop messaging right now, okay? I'm trying to do a demonstration. I don't know why I just said that into my phone. And so here you are. And all you need to do to sign up for class is click right there. And that will cause you to join the group. You'll fill out a little form like that. And then continue. After you've filled it out, I'm not going to fill it out. Just follow the prompts from there, and it'll get you in, and you'll be able to join a group. Basically, what I wanted to do was give you this little tutorial to show you it's super easy to join a group, and it doesn't require that much information, especially if you're already in our database, that it will locate your record, and you can join a group. And I just want to encourage you to go to cwlk.church, scroll down, click on groups, and get in that process and so on. So anyway, any questions so far? I've got my capable assistant, Julie, out here.
Ruth is asking how we're going to continue to meet, knowing that CDC guidelines are pushing for no outside entities to be able to meet in schools. Right.
So that's going to come to the second point, Ruth. It's a great question, and it's going to be a great segue. Any questions about how to sign up for a growth group first, though? I want to nothing on that. Okay, well, maybe some
some people could volunteer to host too.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. My capable assistant is reminding me that we may want more hosts, more facilitators in order to make groups happen. And that one's pretty easy. If you are interested in hosting, if you are interested in facilitating a group, and we have training for you, it's super easy to do, then I would encourage you to get directly in contact with Pastor Dan. And the way to do that would be to just use Dan at cwlk.church and let him know that you would love to be considered as a host or a facilitator. So that's Dan at cwlk.church. Also, if you don't remember that, you can contact him via the prayer at cwlk.church as well. And that email will be forwarded to him and you can volunteer. All right. I think now with that done, we want to get on to what's going to be happening. So we've kind of looked at some of the factors that have to do with reopening a church. And I'm just going to run you through some of those. And I actually have written this out, and a summary of this will be on the news page soon. I'm planning to type that up and put that on the news page. So just go to cwlk.church, and then in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to want to click on news, and you'll find what's going on at Crosswalk. And there will be a new COVID-19 update coming at you this afternoon. So there you'll be able to find this summarized in print. But basically what we're doing is we're looking at two documents right now. There are the Arizona state guidelines for reopening places of worship, and you can look these documents up yourself online if you'd like to. And then there's the CDC's interim guidance for communities of faith and how to open up. So we're studying those. We're looking, the CDC one just came out right before the weekend. The Arizona one came out early in the week, maybe late last week. So we're looking at that and trying to determine, what is it going to take to reopen? And it's not obviously as simple as just opening the doors. First of all, because we don't have right now any doors to reopen. We've been in touch with our schools. We just got a note back from our contact at Cesar Chavez yesterday that essentially said they have not made any determinations about letting outside users come in yet. So we're still, as a church, when it comes to Cesar Chavez High School, Madison Camelview Elementary School, we're still in a zone of not really knowing what's happening and when we're going to be allowed in. So the search is on for alternative locations. But meanwhile, let me come back to this. You can meet face-to-face right now. And the way you can meet face-to-face is by joining a growth group. And always our church, from the very beginning in 2004, has been the beneficiary of the blessing of having our members open their doors so that others can come in and have fellowship, face-to-face, in-person fellowship around the Word of God, around meditating together on the Word of God, around praying together, around, as was shown so beautifully on the video today, around doing life together. So church is circles. And I want to encourage you to circle up in the smaller circles that we all know are relatively safe right now at this time. Join a group and be fed and nurtured from that group, but also be a person that serves and feeds and nurtures the other members of that group. And Pastor Dan and his team are working diligently on making sure there's no shortage of opportunities for you, for any of us, to be able to do that. And this summer, I'm going to be myself personally in several groups. So, because I love the people that are in my groups. So having said that, back to the future of large public worship gatherings. Since we don't yet have any indicator of when the schools will open, and since if you read those two documents that I mentioned earlier, you'll find that there's quite a lot of guidance there that we're going to have to ramp up to. That there are some considerations that we're playing into, and also just the idea of a large public worship gathering that very likely not everyone's going to be at first. And what does that look like? And what does it look like to worship with masks on for safety concerns? One of the things that we know is that singing, because this virus is spread through vapor that's emitted from our noses and our mouths, that very likely we're going to have to strongly encourage people to wear masks during worship, especially if we're going to have singing. So what's that going to look like? What will we open children's ministry? Will we open youth ministry? What are those going to look like if we reopen them? So the experience, even if we decide to come back together, and I think everyone needs to understand this, when that happens, it's going to be different. And then add on top of that, finding a new venue. So it's possible we can hold our large public gatherings at ALA for a time. And we have talked to them, and they seem willing to let us do that, which is good news, and we're grateful for that. However, it's also unfamiliar territory for us. We haven't met at ALA since 2010, when we were quite a bit smaller than we are now. And so we would have to figure everything out about how we're going to do that now. And it requires quite a bit more setup than it does at Chavez, because we would be meeting in the gym. We would be figuring out social distancing. We'd be setting up and taking down carpet on the floor, chairs. Anyway, you get it. There's just a lot of additional detail that we have to figure out. And so there are all those things to go with it as well. We will need very likely someone to help with the parking, because the parking at ALA is not quite as extensive. Then coming to the live streaming, we really, in a very positive sense, want to devote ourselves to that, because we're getting a lot of new people. We're getting nice notes and indicators from people that are connecting with us via the live stream. And right now, that's the majority of the people. I think even if we were open up to large public worship gatherings, the majority might still choose to worship with us via the live stream. So we want to make sure we can continue to up the quality of that and make it seem more and more and more like regular Crosswalk. And then we also have to figure out eventually how we're going to actually live stream it. Right now, we record portions of the service ahead of time and then put them together so that they're all set and ready for all of us on Sunday morning. So actually live streaming it is going to be a little bit different. We have to make sure we have the internet connections. I realize I'm diving into a lot of detail, but I'm doing that intentionally to show you that there's just a whole lot of things that have to be thought through for us to be able to open back up to live worship. So what are we going to do? Number one, strongly encourage growth group engagement, as you've heard me do several times, as Chris did in his message, as Pastor Dan is doing right now in the live chat, and so on and so forth. So we're going to encourage that we can fellowship via groups. Number two, something that happened already this weekend, we're moving our production to ALA. And you saw that. You saw the new set. You saw the new television. We're already in the process of moving production to ALA, and Stephen put in a ton of effort this week making sure that happened, and we pulled it off. And now we'll be in the process of making it better and better as we go forward for the live stream. Number three, we are going to plan several smaller gatherings, shorter gatherings, no more than probably 50 at a time, although pretty sure we're going to break those down and do this even in smaller groups of 10 to 12 in classrooms, and have short devotional communion services so that we can begin again to offer communion to those of you who've been missing communion. And I know quite a few have been doing that. And that would happen in June sometime, that we would begin doing that. And then finally, what we'd like to do is use the next 4 or 5 weeks through the remainder of May and through June to really begin to envision what worship would look like at ALA, since that seems it's going to be available to us sooner than Chavez or Camel View. Envision that, order the equipment and the supplies that are going to be required to produce a large public worship gathering with proper cleaning, social distancing, all the precautions that are in those 2 documents from the state and the CDC. Then we're going to need some extra volunteers for that. And I want to say that loud and clear. We're going to need help to be able to pull off a large public worship gathering. And then those volunteers are going to need to be trained. So all of this and many other things as well, to simply say, as a staff, as a leadership team at Crosswalk, we're wanting you to be informed of all the things that are rolling around in our minds. Also, the advantages of making sure that groups are hit hard and that you have that opportunity to join a group. Also to pump up what we're doing with our live streaming. So there's great positive results that are going to come from this as well. And then hopefully, if we remain with no large public worship gatherings in June, that will give us time to plan and prepare and position ourselves for a large public worship gathering after June sometime, depending again on what the course of this coronavirus is taking. So let me just run you through talking points real quick, and then I'll be quiet and let you guys ask questions. Hopefully you're already typing in your questions. So number one, strongly for the next 5-6 weeks, we're going to strongly encourage group engagement. Number two, we're going to give ourselves more time to envision and plan what services would look like at ALA. We're going to continue to figure out live streaming now in a new venue at ALA. We're going to purchase supplies and additional equipment. We're going to reactivate and recruit and train volunteers. We're going to identify a possible Midtown location. I didn't talk about that yet, but we need to do that. And then we're going to finally give our 2 schools, Chavez and Camel View, a little more time. Maybe they'll end up giving us the okay to come back together, and we won't need, it'll be just a little bit easier to do what we need to do if we can go back to our original locations right away, and we can skip the step of figuring out ALA. So to summarize, we're recommending that we not reopen Crosswalk to large public worship gatherings through June. And that's where our thoughts are right now. So with that, I'm going to see what questions we have.
I have a question.
Okay. The assistant has a question. Okay.
Have any groups actually gotten together face to face yet? And do we have any help for them or guidance for them?
I can only go off a comment that I saw on the live stream earlier today, that I saw one group leader saying that he's looking forward to getting together. And I know that particular group leader had not been meeting with his group via Zoom. So I assume that means
They were going to get
that group is about to get together. That's the only one that I'm aware of so far, which is part of the reason we're moving slow. If we haven't even gotten groups to get together face to face yet, a large public worship gathering does not seem to be the next logical step for us. And this is a great opportunity for us to remind everyone that church is done in circles. And so the logical first step for us as a church is get in our circles and start meeting face to face.
Okay. Joshua had a question about, are any of our churches in our fellowship who do have their own building opening up in case somebody would like to visit one of them?
Yes. A number of churches in the local area, Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod, are reopening. And if you really wish to have, a in-person worship experience, I personally would strongly encourage you to go to one of our partner churches. And if you're looking for help on how to find the one that's closest to you, just let us know. Again, prayer@cwlk.church. We would love for you to go and experience worship at one of our sister churches. So you can look up Wells Churches in Phoenix, WELS. Wells stands for Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod. Churches in Phoenix, and find out which ones I'm sure are open, but we can help you and provide guidance for that. Just email us at prayer@cwlk.church.
Chris says he's hosting 2 in-person groups starting the beginning of June, and he's going to follow all the necessary cleaning guidelines. So there's 2 that are going to start soon.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So Chris, he's got 2, and you've probably seen this already in the live chat. He's got 2 groups that are going to open back up, and they're going to be doing live face-to-face. Chris promises it'll be nice and tidy and clean and safe for you.
So some of our other ministries, like children's ministry, is online to some degree.
Yes.
Resilient ministry is online.
Yes.
Our growth group. So a lot of what we try to offer is being offered online.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, all the big ministries that we have, there are online versions of them. And I'm telling you, like this weekend's video that was produced by Children's Ministry, if you do nothing else, then just go to cwlk.church and scroll down again and click on Children's Ministry. Watch this weekend's video. Fantastic. Really well done. And those materials are being produced for you to use with your children every week. And we usually put the link to those materials in the live chat during the worship so that you can easily access them. But you can also easily access them anytime you'd like by going to cwlk.church and clicking on the Children's Ministry link that you'll find on the homepage. So yeah, I mean that I saw a note from Jason Yonker this morning in the live chat on the worship service that Resilient is going strong online via Zoom. So anything that you'd like to make use of along those lines is available.
From another conversation, I'm gathering that some people might really miss an opportunity to just come and talk to the pastor at church.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to talk to you or Dan or anyone on staff, what should they do if they are missing talking to
Yeah,
you?
we're available tomorrow, even on Memorial Day. I've got several meetings set up. Last week, Joshua, who's on here again today, thank you, Joshua, made a good suggestion of if there are members that want to have a personal Zoom meeting with the pastor. So for me, I'm getting out and about, and if you would like, and I'm sure Dan and Chris feel the same, Phil, if you're engaged with youth ministry, we're more than happy to schedule and arrange to have a meeting with you. Our email addresses are all very simple. It is first name at cwlk.church. So if you want to get a hold of me, Jeff at cwlk.church, Chris, Dan, all at cwlk.church. You can reach us directly, or you can use the prayer at cwlk.church. And that's the best way. Email us, and we'll organize to meet with you. I'm very much looking forward to some of the meetings that I've got scheduled for tomorrow already. So, yeah, please let us know if you need to talk to a pastor. We're here.
The next service starts in less than 10 minutes, but the last question, Carol Jakes is asking if there's need for a group in the West Valley. I think, yeah.
I mean, there's need, Carol, there's need for groups all over. And a lot of our groups are going to be hybrid in any case. So the in-person version of your group can definitely be in the West Valley if you would like to host one there. And we'll also coach you on how to turn your group into a hybrid group if you'd like, so that you can have a live in-person group that also features a Zoom meeting at the same time. So we can coach you on that. We know how to do that. And we'd love to help create more hybrid groups as well.
Yeah, I think that makes it even easier to invite someone who might not be a part of Crosswalk yet.
Yeah, Julie's saying it's sometimes easier to invite someone who's not part of Crosswalk to come to a Zoom meeting. Anything else? Looks like our time we're a little bit over time. Thank you for joining me for Pastor on the Patio. Hopefully this helps you kind of be able to anticipate what's coming up as far as our large public worship gatherings and what's coming in between. Let me just one last time strongly encourage you to consider a growth group right now and get circled up with others and do life together. All right. Keep an eye on cwlk.church, the news page, for further developments. And we will see all of you next weekend. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We love you and we miss you.